Caesar, a name etched in time, Julius Caesar. The name echoes through the ages, a colossus of history whose influence is still felt today, a name synonymous with power, ambition, and ultimately tragedy. His life was a series of battles, both on the field and in the political arena. He was a general, a politician, a dictator. But beyond these titles, he was a visionary who saw the potential for a greater Rome. But who was the man behind the legend? What were his dreams, his fears, his motivations? What drove him to conquer vast territories and reshape the very fabric of Rome? Was it sheer ambition or a genuine belief in the Roman destiny? This is not just a retelling of well-trodden history. This is an exploration into the mind of a man who changed the world. This is a quest to unravel the enigma of Caesar, to peel back the layers of myth and legend. Caesar's life was a tapestry woven with threads of brilliance and ruthlessness, ambition and idealism. Each thread tells a story of its own. He was a master of propaganda, shaping his image and legacy with unparalleled skill. His face was everywhere, his name on every tongue. But beneath the carefully constructed facade, we find a man of contradictions, a leader who could be both revered and reviled, a man capable of great cruelty and surprising compassion. His actions could be as unpredictable as they were decisive. To understand Caesar, we must journey back to his roots, to the streets of ancient Rome, where the seeds of his ambition were first sown, where a young nobleman would begin his extraordinary ascent. From these humble beginnings, a legend would rise, forever changing the course of history. The young Caesar, a noble seed in turbulent soil. Gaius Julius Caesar was born into a patrician family, one of the oldest and most respected in Rome. It was 100 BC. Rome was a republic, but the old order was crumbling under the weight of corruption and internal strife. Power struggles and violence were common, with factions vying for control and influence. Though of noble lineage, Caesar's family wasn't particularly wealthy, living modestly compared to other patrician families. His branch of the Julii had faded somewhat from its former glory, their influence waning over the years. This had a profound impact on young Caesar, instilling in him a deep sense of determination and ambition. He knew he had to fight for everything he wanted in life. His education was typical for a Roman of his class, but he approached it with unmatched fervor. He excelled in rhetoric and literature, essential skills for a budding politician, and showed a keen interest in the art of persuasion. His ability to captivate an audience with his words set him apart from his peers. He was also trained in swordsmanship and military tactics, preparing him for the turbulent times ahead. Caesar's Aunt Julia, married to the powerful general Marius, played a pivotal role in his early life, offering him a glimpse into the world of power and politics. She instilled in him a sense of ambition and the importance of political connections, teaching him the value of alliances and strategic relationships. These lessons would serve him well in the years to come, as he navigated the complex and often dangerous world of Roman politics and military campaigns. The shadow of Sulla, a crucible of fear and defiance. Rome was a dangerous place for a young man with ambition. The dictator Sulla, a rival of Marius, seized power in a bloody civil war. Caesar, as the nephew of Marius, became a target. Sulla ordered him to divorce his wife Cornelia, daughter of a prominent Marian supporter. Caesar refused. This defiance was an act of extraordinary courage. It could have cost him his life. Sulla, impressed by Caesar's resolve, spared him. But Caesar was stripped of his inheritance and priesthood. He fled Rome, living as a fugitive, always looking over his shoulder. This period of exile hardened Caesar, forging his will and sharpening his instincts for survival in the brutal arena of Roman politics. Captive of pirates, a glimpse of unbending will. While fleeing from Sulla's assassins, Caesar was captured by pirates. This episode reveals much about Caesar's character. Held for ransom, Caesar treated his captors with disdain, mocking them for their low ambitions. He promised to crucify them all once he was freed. The pirates, amused by his audacity, laughed along. They had no idea they were dealing with a force of nature. Caesar demanded a higher ransom, befitting his status. He wasn't just a captive, he was directing the negotiations. The ransom was paid, Caesar was released. True to his word, he hunted down the pirates, captured them, and had them executed. This event showcased not only Caesar's ruthlessness, but also his remarkable self-belief. He never doubted he would be free. He never doubted he would have his revenge. With Sulla's death, Caesar returned to Rome. He was now in his 20s. The political stage beckoned. He possessed a potent combination: noble blood, a famous name, and a growing reputation for courage and charisma. Caesar embarked on a traditional political career, holding various positions and honing his oratory skills. The Roman people loved a good show. Caesar, with his commanding presence and fiery speeches, knew how to give them one. He understood the power of spectacle. He staged elaborate games and public events, winning over the masses. His popularity soared. Behind the scenes, however, Caesar was carefully cultivating alliances and building a power base. He was a master strategist, playing the long game. His goal, nothing less than the highest office in Rome. Caesar's military campaigns in Gaul, which is modern-day France, would solidify his reputation as a brilliant general. For nearly a decade, he waged war against fierce Gallic tribes. His commentaries on the Gallic War, a masterpiece of propaganda, chronicled his victories and presented him as a defender of Rome. But, these campaigns were also about personal ambition. Caesar's legions were renowned for their discipline and fighting prowess. They were led by a general who inspired both fear and loyalty. Caesar's strategic brilliance was on full display. He understood the importance of logistics, engineering, and quick, decisive action. He won victory after victory, conquering vast territories and enriching himself and his loyal soldiers in the process. The name Caesar became synonymous with military might. He was now the most famous man in Rome. With Gaul conquered, Caesar stood at a crossroads. His political enemies in Rome, fearful of his growing power, ordered him to disband his army and return as a private citizen. They knew if Caesar returned with his legions, it would mean civil war. Caesar faced a fateful choice. He could submit to the Senate's demands, or he could defy them and march on Rome. In 49 BC, Caesar, at the head of his loyal legions, crossed the Rubicon River, the boundary between Gaul and Italy. This act was a declaration of war. The die is cast, Caesar is said to have declared. He was willing to gamble everything on a roll of the dice. The Roman Republic, already teetering on the brink, plunged into a bloody civil war. Caesar emerged victorious from the civil war. His rival, Pompey, was defeated and killed. Caesar was now the undisputed master of Rome. He was appointed dictator for life. Caesar implemented sweeping reforms. He granted citizenship to conquered peoples, reformed the calendar, and initiated large-scale building projects. He sought to centralize power, streamline the administration, and address the needs of the poor. His reforms were ambitious, even visionary, but they alienated many of his former allies. They saw in Caesar's actions a dangerous lust for absolute power. They whispered of tyranny. The old Roman elite, accustomed to holding the reins of power, resented Caesar's dominance. A conspiracy began to brew in the shadows, a plot to eliminate the tyrant and restore the Republic. On March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate. The day was marked by an air of foreboding, as if the very walls of the Senate could sense the impending doom. He was unaware of the danger that lurked within the hallowed halls. The Senate, a place of governance and debate, had turned into a den of treachery. The conspirators, led by Brutus and Cassius, surrounded him. These men, once his allies, had now become his executioners, driven by a mix of fear, envy, and a desire to restore the Republic. They struck, their daggers finding their mark again and again. Each stab was not just an attack on Caesar, but a blow to the very heart of Rome. Caesar fell, blood staining his toga. "Et tu, brute!" His voice, filled with shock and betrayal, echoed through the Senate. Caesar is said to have uttered, recognizing his close friend among his assassins. The betrayal by Brutus, whom he considered a son, was the ultimate treachery. It was a death worthy of a Shakespearean tragedy. The scene was chaotic, filled with the cries of senators and the clashing of steel. Caesar's assassination plunged Rome into a new round of civil wars. The power vacuum left by his death led to a struggle for control, tearing the Republic apart. The Republic he had tried to reshape would never be the same. The ideals of the Republic crumbled, giving way to chaos and conflict. From the ashes of his assassination rose an empire. The turmoil paved the way for a new order, one that would be ruled by emperors. Caesar's adopted son Octavian would become Augustus, the first Roman emperor. He would bring stability and usher in the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity. Caesar's legacy is complex and enduring. His reforms, military conquests, and the very manner of his death have left an indelible mark on history. He was a ruthless conqueror, a shrewd politician, and a visionary reformer. His actions and policies reshaped Rome and influenced the course of Western civilization. He left an indelible mark on the course of history. His name became synonymous with power and ambition, inspiring countless leaders throughout the ages. His name became a title, a symbol of power that would inspire emperors and dictators for centuries to come. The title Caesar would be adopted by rulers far beyond Rome, echoing through the corridors of power. Even today, the name Caesar conjures up images of power, ambition, and the enduring allure of ancient Rome. His life and death continue to captivate the imagination, a testament to his lasting impact on the world.